Listeners of the deep below, we welcome you to a new story, and as always, ask you to visit the author's work, as well as visit us on other social media platforms. Welcome to the story. For reference, my name is Kale. I'm a young adult male in college. Live with a large snake named Wishbone and my best friend Malik. I always noticed that my shadows and reflections, they did not always match my movements. My shadow lagged behind, and my reflection moved its eyes in every direction. No one else seemed to notice. I wanted to know why copies of me were not the same. So one day, I tried to communicate with it. I first tried the reflection, putting my hand on a mirror, but it did not move its hand. No, it stares back at me, keeping its hand on its counter. I did not move either, and it backed away. I did not see my reflection the rest of the day. The next day, I came home and fed Wishbone. Once finished, I saw my reflection in the glass of her cage, but it was not the same. That thing had no mouth, no expression, and it never looked away from me. More than chilled to the bone, I left and went to my room to sleep. I woke up at 2:37 a.m. to hear nothing. I am a heavy sleeper and never wake up for no reason, so I stayed up, waiting. After half an hour of silence, I laid back down, only to get jolted up by something under me. A tooth, but not a human tooth, not at all mammal. It was a fang, a snake fang. I stared at it in terror as I thought of Wishbone, hoping she was okay. I turned on every light and grabbed my extended steel bat. I woke Malik and told him to watch my back and confirmed that he was still there every few seconds. I watch, read, listen to horror all the time, and I will never be the idiot in my story. How ironic. We made it to the kitchen, where Wishbone was, and she was still there, asleep. I woke her gently and checked her mouth. It was fine. We went back to sleep, and I brought Wish to my room, setting her in the smaller house that I keep under the bed for her. On my way to class the next day, I noticed that my reflection, my shadow, was gone. Well, that is just fantastic, I muttered to myself, knowing what would likely happen tomorrow. Sure enough, the next day my shadow was back, with a glowing white frown and no eyes. Once home, I made a list of what I saw. Disappears one day, comes back the next. Reflection has staring eyes and no mouth. Shadow has a frown and no eyes. I put the two things together and got a face. Every day the reflection changed. It became sadness, then anger, then wonder. It was thinking. Then the shadow changed to a smile. Once again, I went to the mirror and put my hand on it. This time, the reflection did too. I backed up and stood next to the wall, and it came true, along with the shadow. The two merged together, giving the thing a human face with a black and white shadow mouth, almost like a mask. We both were scared and confused, but we were more interested than anything. Hey, I said, waiting for a response. It waited for a bit before answering. Hello. I did not know what to do, so I told it to follow me into my room. So my name is... Cutting me off, it responded. I know. I was surprised, but also excited. Okay then, I guess I'll call you. Again, it jumped in. I know. Me and my reflection that I named Tia had many ideas for what to do with this opportunity. Tia did not need to eat or sleep, so he would do whatever I needed while I was occupied. I should have paid more attention. I should have thought about it. Tia did everything. Even things that he had not seen me do before, or at least what I thought he had not seen. But Tia did not talk, unless asked a direct question. He would stay quiet at all costs. I did whatever I wanted, and Tia watched. Then I ran out of things to do. I was left with my own thoughts. I wondered if I should get rid of Tia. He took all of my responsibilities away, and I wanted them back. I decided that I had to kill Tia. I went out and got some things that I thought could get rid of him. A sword, hunting knife and revolver. On a night that Malik was not home, I snuck up on Tia and shot him in the heart. He got up and a new heart formed and healed. I stabbed at his neck, cut his hand, shot his legs, but he stood there and healed back to normal. I aimed at Tia's head and fired. This time, he caught the bullet. I fired 4 more times, and he caught them all. I threw the knife at him, and he dodged. It hit the wall and came back at me. Tia caught it. Then I felt something. First sadness, then anger, then wonder. And I smiled. I went outside, ran into the woods, and climbed the phone tower a few 100 feet behind our house. I saw him look at my bedroom window. Tia followed me the whole way. I waited for him to get close before I jumped. After he did, Tia knew I would jump, so he did it first. I fell feet first, aimed at Tia's head, and the sword aimed at his heart. Tia jumped horizontally, intending to catch me, but there was not enough time to change direction. He landed on his back, then me exactly where I wanted, killing him instantly. However, Tia's face muscles did not relax. He grinned as wide as possible, with all of his hidden teeth showing. Then I was no longer smiling. I looked back, and the house was burning, and the wishbone was inside.